Okay, hi Danny. Welcome to your math lesson. This is lesson number 87. Here we go. We are going to multiply two, uh, two. I should have put two-digit numbers, part one. So it's actually two-digit numbers. So that means we're going to multiply a two-digit number like 10 by another two-digit number by like 12. And we're going to learn how to multiply those things together when there's two-digit numbers. Okay, so that is super cool. Here we go. If I had a DeLorean, I would probably only drive it from time to time. Okay, that's funny because of Back to the Future. Do you remember on Back to the Future, their time machine was made out of a DeLorean? And so they're saying, I'd only drive it from time to time. Get it? Okay, that's pretty funny. All right, let's let you do your 64 multiplication facts. So get out that piece of paper and you are going to have 5 minutes to do it, okay? Make sure you have a pencil. On your mark, get set, go. I'm going to try and find some music while you do that. Let's see. You're doing awesome, Danny. You're about halfway there. Keep going. Okay, I'm going to stop you there, Danny. So that's 5 minutes. Good job doing that. Okay, now let's move on to our mental math. Here we go, okay? And that's actually a Tesla that you're looking at from far away. I know because I searched up for Tesla, so don't be impressed that I know what kind of car that is. And also it says Tesla right there if you can see that. Anyway, let's do some mental math, okay? We're going to take $10 minus $7.50. Write your answer. That's a little bit of a tricky one. I would maybe do $10 minus $7 first, and then take away an extra 50 cents. So if you do $10 minus $7, you'll get a number. And then if you have this number, take away an extra 50 cents. Okay, that's one way to do it, but you might have your own way. Okay, what is 400 times 20? Now, we learned how to do these problems a couple lessons back, right? So multiply those first digits first, and then add all those zeros. How many zeros are there? Okay, so you can do it. And then we're going to do C. C is 58 plus 35. What do you get? Okay, let's do D. And you might need to pause this if I'm going too fast. What is 250 times 10? What I do whenever I'm multiplying by 10 is I just add an extra 0. Whenever I'm multiplying by 10, I just add a 0 to that other number. Because that just means you're moving the decimal over another place, right? Okay, what is $7.68 plus $1.95? So what I would do on this one is just add $2 first. And then I would think, okay, I added too much money, so I have to subtract 5 pennies from that. Okay, what about F? We're going to do 85 minus 38. 85 minus 38. So you can either write that out and carry a 1, or you can do it the way we've been doing where you add 2 to a number and make it an easier math problem. So that would be 87 minus 40. All right, let's jump into problem solving. For problem solving, what we're going to do, it says Sandra bought a CD for $12.95. Now I have a picture of a CD here. This is what we used to buy music on in the old days. And when you bought a CD, because that's a little expensive, $12.95, you got like, I don't know, 10 or 15 songs in a whole album. So they were probably about $1 each. That's what you can buy them for on iTunes now. Okay, so she bought the CD. The price of the CD was $12.95, but then there was sales tax. Remember, we learned about sales tax a couple lessons back. So you have to add that together to the price of the CD. There was CD plus sales tax. She paid for her purchase with a $10 bill and a $5 bill. She got back 5 coins. What were the coins? So this is a little tricky because it's a lot of steps. You have to figure out how much the total cost was. So to do that, we're going to have to add $12.95 plus $1.10. Okay, and then you're going to find the total cost of the CD. Once you have the total cost, then you realize that she paid $15. So you're going to have to find out how much change she should get. So you're going to do $15 minus the total cost. And then what you're going to get for a number is the change. And then you have to turn the change into 5 coins. And it says one of them is not a $50. So you're going to have to figure out how many quarters, how many dimes, how many nickels, how many pennies. All right, so you're definitely going to have to pause it there because that is a lot of work to do. And while you're doing that, I'm going to move on to the new concept. Okay, buddy? Here we go, the new concept. This is going to be really fun and definitely useful. The new concept is multiplying two two-digit numbers together. Okay? So whenever we do that, there's going to be 3 steps in how we do it. I know that seems like a lot, just like Patrick here. Look, he's panting. Why are there so many stairs? And Squidward says, you've only gone up 3 steps. And he says, well, it seems like 4. It's like, you've only gone up 3 steps. Well, it feels like 4. All right. So this is going to feel like a lot of steps, but once you know how to do it and you're really, really good at it, it won't seem like any steps at all. It's just going to seem natural to you. So here we go. These are the 3 steps. Whenever you're multiplying two two-digit numbers, first we're going to multiply the ones. Step 2, we're going to multiply the tens. Step 3, we're going to add that together. So multiply the ones, multiply the tens, and then add the products. And the way we learn math is to do it, not just by talking about it. Okay, so here we go. They teach us how to do this. Let's say we want to do a complicated math problem like 34 times 12. Look down here, 34 times 12. Here we're multiplying 2 two-digit numbers together. And that's a little hard to do in our head, 34 times 12. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to break down that 12 basically. We're going to multiply the ones place. So it's 34 times 2. And you're going to get a number for that. And 34 times 2, you can do that in your head. That's kind of like the mental math we've been doing. If you do that, we're going to get 68. The next step, step 2, we multiplied the ones. Now we're going to multiply the tens. Multiply the tens. So 34 times 10, because this is just a 1 here. If there was a 2 here, you would do 34 times 20. But there's just a 1 here, so we're going to do 34 times 10. Now, you can do that one in your head. The way I do it is I add a 0. 34 times 10 is 340. Now, check this out. When I add these numbers together, let's add them together and see what happens. When you add them together, you get, let's start with the ones, 8 plus 0, you get 8. And then 6 plus 4, 8, you get an 8 here. And then 6 plus 4 is going to be 10. So we're going to have to carry a 1 and put the 0 here. And then let's do the hundreds place. 3 plus 4 is going to be 4. So we end up with 408. And the cool thing about 408 is that's what you get when you multiply 34 times 12. If you put that into a calculator, you would get 408. And we got that just by doing 34 times the ones, 34 times the tens. So these are the ones, these are the tens, these are the ones, these are the tens. And then you add those together. So step 1, multiply by the ones. Step 2, multiply by the tens. Step 3, add them together, and you will get your answer. That's all there is to it. Now, most of the time when you do these problems, it's easier to write it like this. So that way you don't have to do 34 times 2, like write it out, 34 times 10, and write it out, and then add. There's an easier way to write it on your paper. Okay, so let me show you how. We're going to do 34 times the ones. So to do that, we're going to do 2 times 4 first. 2 times 4, I'm going to write 8. And then check this out. We're going to do 2 times 3. 3 times 2 is 6, so I'm going to write that here. So we basically did 34 times 2, and we wrote it here. Okay, now we're going to do times the tens. Okay, and when we do 34 times the tens, it's basically just 34 times 1. And the way I do it is, well, you can just do 34 times 1. Or what I do is now I take this number and I'm going to do 1 times 4. And I'm going to write it here. 1 times 4 is 4. And then I'm going to do 1 times 3. 1 times 3 is 3. And I write it here. But you could just do, in your head, just think 34 times 1 and do mental math and write it there. Now, we just did 34 times 1 and we got 34. But the 1 is in the tens place. And so what you really need to do is add a 0, because what we're really doing is 34 times 10. So adding this 0 is super important because that keeps your places in line, the ones, the tens, the hundreds, and then you can add them together. So the last step is to add them together. So I'm going to do just addition now. 8 plus 0 is 8. 6 plus 4 is 10. And then 1 plus 3 is 4. And check it out. I got the same answer as before. I just wrote it in a little bit different way. Okay, now turn the page because they show you another way to do this. And I'll just go through the other way really quickly just to make sure that you understand it. You don't have to write that 0, is basically what they say in the other way of doing it. Let's try it again. 2 times 4 is going to be 8. 2 times 3 is going to be 6. Okay, now we're going to multiply 34 times the ones place. And when we do that, you're going to leave an empty space here because you're multiplying by the tens place, and the ones don't count because you're multiplying by tens. And you're going to write 34 times 1 is 34, and just write it there. And then when we add, we just pretend that there's a 0 here, but they say you don't have to write the 0. I like to write the 0 because it keeps things in order, but I guess you don't have to if you don't want to. I'm just going to write a 0 like this because I actually really like writing a 0. It keeps things straight for me in my head. And then when we add, we're just going to do 8 plus 0, 8. And then 6 plus 4 is 10. And then 1 plus 3 is 3. Oh, wait, no. 1 plus 3 is not 3, duh. It's too late at night for me. 1 plus 3 is 4. So we get 408, just like before. Okay, sweet. Let's do one more example just to make sure that we have it. And then we're going to let you do your homework, okay? So here we go. This is 31 times 23. So we're multiplying two-digit numbers together. So let's start with the ones. We're going to do 31 times 3. If you want to just do mental math and do 31 times 3, you can do that, and you can just write 31 times 3 is going to be 93. And you can just do that if you want. Or you can say 3 times 1 is 3, and you write it there. And 3 times 3 is 9, and you write it there. Okay, then we're going to do 31 times the tens place. And there's a 2 in the tens place. So if you want to just do mental math, what is 31 times 2? Just think in your head. And it's going to be 62. And I'm going to write it right here and leave a space. Now you know me, I like to write the 0 there because we're multiplying by the tens place. So there is a 0 here. Because instead of multiplying 31 times 2, you're actually multiplying 31 times 20. Okay, now the last step is we add these together. So let's just add them in order. 3 plus 0, 3. 9 plus 2, 11. And then 6 plus 1 is 7. So I got for an answer 713. Okay, now I actually didn't think that that was enough practice in today's lesson. So I'm going to do the first problem that's in your homework. So this is a bonus, just like this guy's getting a bonus in this Jeopardy game he's playing, okay? You're going to get a bonus. So if you watch this part of the lesson, I'm going to do your first homework problem, which is great because you know you're going to get one right. You know, I mean, you always get a lot of them right, but this one you'll have the answer to. Okay, let's multiply 32 times 23. The first thing we're going to do is multiply the ones place. So 32 times 3. Now what if I just do that in my head? Okay, I can do that in my head. 32 times 3. Let's see. 3 times 2 is going to be 6. And then 3 times 3 is going to be 9. So I'm going to write it like that. Then we're going to multiply 32 times the tens place. What's 32 times 2? Well, you can do that in your head. If you do it in your head, you'll get 64 because you're just doubling it. But that's the tens place, so we had to add a 0. When I multiply, I actually do this. I do 32 times 3, and then the next step I do is I add my 0. And then I do 32 times 2, and then I don't have to remember the 0 later. It's already there. Then we're going to add 6 plus 0 is 6. 9 plus 4 is 13. 6 plus 1 is 7. And this is the answer to the first homework problem, okay? At least if I got it right, then that's the answer. So bonus right there. All right. I hope you have fun doing your math. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Love you, Danny. Have a great day. Bye.